Terance, what do you think? Are you like in the same vein? Like, do you feel like it's the same? Like, just watch new stuff, or is it like the remakes is too much? Like, they need to like shake it up a little bit more.
So here's my thing with the remakes: is remakes of anime so far. If we look at like the track record of them, it doesn't seem to be that good. Like
it's 50-50, I would say.
Yeah, like the ones that we've been okay, like the one that stands out that all of us have mentioned is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's like the definition of how you do a remake. Like regardless of medium, honestly, like it's heads and shoulders like probably one of the best remakes of any medium period. But when I think of like other remakes that have happened in anime, like the Sailor Moon remake, and this kind of will go off into like another side thing that maybe you're going to get into later, Sage, is how, and Devin touched on this too, is like how art, like a change in art style really impacts how you view the old version of something versus the new version of something. Sailor Moon is like the prime example of it. It's funny, when Sailor Moon Crystal, when it was announced, I was hyped for it because, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I grew up on Sailor Moon. I loved it as a kid. And when they announced that they were going to remake it, I was like, oh, that's awesome. So a new generation gets to experience this. And when it finally came out, I saw the first couple episodes and I was like, this is good in my opinion. But then I got online and I started hearing from other people. Specifically, I remember a friend of a friend, when I asked, we just randomly started talking about Sailor Moon. And I asked her, yo, what do you think about Crystal? And she was like, I hate it. It's like, the CG transformations are absolute garbage. And I was just like taken back. I was like, you think this is bad? And then when I got online, come to find out, a lot of people weren't really feeling it either. And I was just surprised because I thought that it was good for what it was. A lot of people just weren't feeling the art style. I was like, but this is kind of along the lines of what it originally looked like. And
they weren't trying to hit it.
Yeah, and we've discussed this before, how something can be how when they try to remake stuff and make it more along the lines of what it was in the beginning, if it doesn't end up vibing with what people first saw, like when people first saw like the original Sailor Moon, it looks completely different from Crystal. And it's funny, when Crystal came out, people hated it so much that they ended up going back to the original Sailor Moon. It's just something about how Sailor Moon has like, and Sailor Moon also has like that quintessential 90s, 80s, like 90s art style that people just really mess with now, especially now that a lot of the millennials, like people our age, have gotten older and they're starting to influence the market, and we're starting to see like 90s style come back in and everything. And so Sailor Moon has definitely been a part of that. So it's just interesting to see how when you bring out these remakes, how just a simple art style change can influence how people feel about it. I mean, another one, it's not really so much the art style, but more so the animation, is Berserk. I mean, when they did, it wasn't a remake, but I mean, it's a sequel, and people love the OG Berserk OVAs in the animated series. But then you have the new one, the CG one, and man, people trash on that for days. It's like the story is fine, but the art and the animation, woo-wee. People said throw the whole thing away. And I don't know. I guess really that's my only point that I have to add to the discussion, is that it's just really interesting to see how people respond to remakes when the art style has changed. And I don't know. I know you said 50-50, but I'm really trying to think of like what other shows have really hit the nail on the head in terms of their remake outside of like your Full Metal Alchemist,
Hunter Cross Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter. Yeah, that's another one. Oh, you know what? Another remake that I just thought of that didn't work. They actually, I don't know if any of you remember this. Do you remember when they remade Speed Racer X?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the one that they put on Nickelodeon.
I do remember.
Yeah. That one did not work at all. Like, it didn't have the spirit of OG Speed Racer at all. It was like, the only thing that was similar to it was, I mean, it had a guy named Speed and, I mean, his Mach 5. I mean, Trixie and the other characters were on there, but the spirit of it just wasn't there. And maybe that's the thing with these remakes, is that a lot of times the spirit of the original one that we enjoyed so much, it just isn't there with the remake. And it can take a lot to, it's like really trying to get lightning to strike twice. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I mean, sometimes you get a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and other times you get a Sailor Moon Crystal, where, you know, people just aren't feeling it. And I do agree with, I think it was Raheem that mentioned, like, like I would like to see anime that never really finished to get their chance to come back. One that I could think of, especially, and it's topical now because Fire Force, they recently made it where I think it's a prequel to Soul Eater, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
They tied it together in some way, which was really interesting. I would love to see Soul Eater come back because Soul Eater, the way it ended, it went off the rails and did its own thing. It deviated from the manga. I would love to see it come back and them stay faithful to the manga. And I mean, they don't even have to do a new art style. The art style that Bones did for the original animation, the original anime, it was fantastic. It was great. It still holds up today, so they don't really have to change anything. Just follow the manga. But yeah, that's really all that I have to add is that remakes, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Sometimes the new art works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It's a very 50-50 kind of thing, I guess.